My hyper-religious future mother-in-law overheard me 27 male making love with my fiancée 26 female. She has been livid because we've been having premarital sex and sleeping in same bed. My fiancée comes from a super religious family. Me and her go to church, but we're nowhere near as hardcore as her family. Her stepfather was diagnosed with COVID. So we are currently letting her mom live with us while her sisters take care of her dad. Her mom is obsessed with whether or not I've defiled my fiancé's private part. Was upset when we moved in together shortly before our engagement, and her mom was mad that we were living in sin. We eventually got her to get over it by saying that we slept in 2 different rooms so we wouldn't be tempted. Of course this was a lie. My fiancé just wanted her off our back. Since she's been here, her mom has been stepping in my room, the guest room, and I've been on the couch. A few nights ago near midnight I got a text from my wife asking me to come cuddle with her because she missed sleeping next to me. We both assumed her mother was asleep and I snuck into our bedroom and got in bed to cuddle her until she fell asleep. However, one thing led to another. After we were done, she got a text from her mother saying that she could hear us. She also mentioned that she was very disappointed in us. In the morning her mother went off on me specifically and said that I corrupted her daughter. She said that I knew what I was doing when I asked her to move in because I wanted to sleep with her before we got married. My fiancé caught no heat. In fact, her mom comforted her and treated her like she was a victim. Even thought the first time we had sex it was her idea. Her mom will now check the living room for me to make sure I'm not ducking her daughter. She even once lectured me saying that even though we are in love and getting married, we can't express that love physically just yet. And that she knows that because I'm a male I probably desire her physically a lot more than she does me, so I need to work harder to control my urges than she does. I've been tolerating this for too long and my fiancé refuses to talk to her mom about this. It's incredibly annoying and I'm at my wit's end. Honestly, your first mistake was not telling your fiancée she had to draw a line in the sand. This whole appeasing future mother-in-law is something that never should have happened, to be honest. When you moved in together it's not like you had to say get over it mother-in-law, we're having all the X. But instead what we do in our home is none of your business. And now that you've slept on the couch in your own home to appease this woman, it seems like she thinks she has authority. Time for fiancé to stand up to her mother. Time for both of you to start letting her know she is not in charge and her opinion is not welcome. Absolutely. Because they should have never lied to her in the first place. I think it's weird when adults lie unless it's to an employer or a child. Because why? What is anybody going to do? Your sins are between you, your religious leader, and your deity. She has no spiritual authority over you. Unless you believe in a spiritual matriarch. Start sleeping with your fiancé each and every night. And if her mom has issues, kick her out. It's really none of her business what you and your fiancé, as consenting adults, do in your bedroom. This is so grossly over the boundary. Ugh. Second story. I got her pregnant but I want to leave because I just don't care for her son. Me I'm 30, her F30. We've been dating for 2 years and at first it was nice. I think she's thr best partner I ever had. She's sweet and caring and a lovely human being. I am very happy with her, and while she's great, I simply resent being around her son every day I am around them. I knew she was a mother and it was okay at first before I got close to her son. But in time I slowly feel annoyed being around him. He's only 5 and I know it's not his fault for his anger issues or violent outbursts. Kids are kids. I get it. But I feel his upbringing stems to thr way he is. Why is her allowed to hit his mother is beyond me. I don't fault him for it because I am told this is normal for young kids. It probably is, BQAce's therapist agreed. But I just can't stand violence. Kids or adults. Everyone loves to say it's okay Hess young, he doesn't know how to regulate his feelings, but it doesn't mean I enjoy having toys thrown at me or being bitten whenever Hess told something he doesn't like. I believe that Hess only 4 for a year and it stayed the same. That excuse is full of crap. And yesterday at the park was the last straw for me. Always has a kid defense for his violence. What do you tell the 3-year-old girl at the park he beat up? Hess only 5. I have no idea how it started, but I have a child thrashing and another wailing in tears. I had to pull him off and it was the most embarrassing moment. Being yelled at BQAce I can't take responsibility for his actions isn't fair to me. I've been saying his anger is a problem, but no. The intellect of my GF and her family exceeds my small brain. Because I am not a parent. I don't know how it is. Apparently my GF was this same. This is how all kids are. BS. Hitting me. His aunt. His father. His mother isn't normal. Hess not even my kid. I am so sick of trying to establish a relationship with this kid. Hess a bully. Plain and simple. Worst part is, I don't even know what to say he needs done. His mom took psychology before being a lawyer. She should know. Not me. Why did I get her pregnant? Why? I honestly regret that so much. I love his mom to death. She's such a brilliant woman and she makes me so happy, but holy Hannah, I can't stand her kid. Hess not even always bad. That's the part that makes me feel like it's a yo-yo. Hess okay until something doesn't go his way. Problem is, that's a lot. No, he's too young to work with me on THR cars. So, he throws tools at it. His iPad isn't working. Throws it on THR floor. Now it's my problem to repair it. Screw that. My GF is my best friend and she makes me happy when we are together, but when I factor him, I am miserable. It's like when people are around his attitude turns on. I swear Peppa Pig is part of the problem too. This turned into a rant, but I feel like either too long didn't read. I can't stand my stepson legally since I've been living with them for 2 years, pregnant girlfriend kid, and I want out of the relationship for it. A, I hope she's right and he will calm down and our families can get along and raise our kids happily. B, I am miserable living with this canon and eventually split up fighting for custody for my own kid. C, just split up now so my kid doesn't have to endure parents splitting up and they are raised knowing we aren't together. Tell your girlfriend that her son needs help and he needs it now. That you're concerned about your baby and how he'll react when the baby's getting all of the attention and not him. By the way, none of this is normal. He's learned that turning on his temper gets results. It'll take him twice as long to unlearn it. He needs tough love at this point. Third story. My dad is having an affair with someone who is my age. I am kind of reeling. My mom doesn't want to talk about it and just says I don't understand what it means to be married. Maybe I don't, but I really don't think this is right. My dad 49 male and my mom 47 female have been married 20 plus years. They have me 21 male and my younger sibling. Don't want to get into siblings' age gender as they don't know anything about this. They're younger though. Sibling was diagnosed with cancer 8 years ago and it was a big journey to make sure that sibling got through it. It took a big toll on the whole family. My mom gave up her job to look after sibling full time. It was over 2 years of back and forth. But we got lucky. Sibling is thriving now. My dad has a high-powered job and always worked a lot, but he always made it home for dinner. But then about a year into siblings treatment, he started working late or going to golf club a night a week. Then over time it was 2 nights and for the past few years it's been half the week. It was always sort of clear that siblings' illness didn't exactly bring our parents together. My mom got totally into that and to be honest she wasn't always very present for me emotionally, but sibling was so unwell that I just kind of got it. She's been great ever since. I asked my mom a few years ago if she and dad were happy and she said that marriage is more than just romance and rainbows and that they had a life together. Which didn't really answer my question, or maybe it did. About a year ago I finally twigged that my dad was having an affair and it had been going on for a while. Basically I found a document that indicated that he rents a flat on the other side of town. There was just this moment when I realized and my mom saw it kind of sink in and she just shook her head and I didn't say anything. 2 days ago I found out who his mistress was. It's a girl who was in my class at school. Izzy actually used to go out with my best friend from ages 14-16. My friend was distraught when she broke up with him. It seems like she did this because she had met my dad. He rented a flat and they've been having an affair for 5 years. I confronted my dad and he just told me that it was none of my business. That his relationship with my mother had evolved when sibling got sick and that his sexual needs had upgraded and that Izzy can meet them in a way that my mother cannot. WTF. He said, and my mother confirmed that he told my mom that he was planning to have an affair with Izzy before it started and that ground rules were set so that Izzy couldn't come to our house and that he would still be home X number of nights a week and that no more than X would be spent on Izzy. My mother gave her permission and that's been the situation ever since. My mother just said she didn't want to discuss it and that relationships change over time. My dad said that he would go and stay in his flat for the rest of the week while I cooled off, but that he would come back on Monday and that we wouldn't be talking about it again. I've been living at home during the pandemic as my university has been shut and I haven't exactly got anywhere else to go. Plus my mom doesn't want me to go. And sibling is still in school and doesn't know anything about this. I am physically kind of nauseous about this whole thing and I don't want anyone to know. My dad is just a total creep. I hadn't spoken to Izzy in a long time, but I remember her as really quiet and very clever. She is also very beautiful. Her parents had a very messy divorce during the last couple of years at school and I remember her being very upset about it. I can't believe that she's put in 5 years of her life into this. My friend really loved her. He spent a good 2 years trying to win her back. I don't know what to do. I need a roof over my head, but I don't want to look at my dad's smug face again. I hate how my mother can't meet my eye. I feel like sibling knows something's up and I don't want to lie. It's like the house I thought was made of bricks was just made out of straw, but I don't know if I have spine to blow the whole thing down. Would we be better off? Internet people, fresh perspective appreciated. Update. To the people who said that my dad is a cool dude is who killing it and that I was jealous, I suggest seeking therapy for your tortured self-esteem issues. To the people who said that it was an open marriage, a fetish for my mother too. No, a hole here. I get that polygamy may be a good thing for some people, but I think that's often about one person being selfish at the expense of the feelings of their partner. It has become very clear that this has been what is happening here. In the end, sibling found out what was happening. I told her that I posted and she said thank you for protecting her privacy, but she was fine with people knowing her age, gender. So yeah, She's a girl and she's a teenager. I realize that my instinct is to protect her from back when she was ill, but she's actually one of the strongest and resilient people that I know, and she doesn't really need it. When Dad came home, sibling and I confronted him again. He was a bit freaked out that sibling now knew too. He explained it all again. He met Izzy and became transfixed by her barf, and so he told her that he would like to start a relationship. He said that he started by meeting Izzy for coffee to work out ground rules with her, and that he also worked out ground rules with my mother, but when sibling pushed, he admitted that he had told my mother that he would want a divorce if she stood in the way. It really does sound like the freaking weirdest adultery that I have ever heard of. Not that I have actually ever met anyone else who cheated. During the time that he and Izzy were talking, Dad found a flat and furnished it for their meetings. Given that over time Dad has been increasingly absent, sibling pushed again for an explanation, and he said it started off one evening. A week after which he dropped Izzy back at her parents', but over time, they started staying over together for special occasions, and then every week until where we are now, where he's been here half the week and the other half with her. He also said that the flat they use now is not the same one they started out with, because it's now one that Izzy lives in full time, while the one they had for the first few years was just a bedsit. He finally admitted that he has consistently gone over the budget that he agreed to my mother that he would be spending on his affair. Sibling told him that she wasn't happy staying under his roof anymore and packed up to go stay with her boyfriend. She told our mom that she loves her and will be back when Dad is gone. My mother kind of freaked out and asked her not to go, but sibling just said again that she wants nothing to do with our father, and she took her case and walked out the door. I ended up confessing all to the girl I've been seeing for a few weeks, and I fled there too. I was really hesitant as my situation is extremely new and I hadn't wanted to give her the impression that I am some gross guy like my dad. She turned out to be very understanding, but I've promised that this is a very short-term fix. A friend of the girl I am seeing apparently has a room coming free in his house share, and I am about 95% sure I'll be moving there at the start of May. Affording it may be tricky, but I will make it work. Back at the homestead, sibling has also been in touch with our maternal uncle, who I think is stepping in to lay down the law to my mom that she needs to kickstart a divorce because this situation is utterly unacceptable. If we were in America, Dad would have liable for criminal charges. I worried about burning down the house, but the house was already very much on fire. My parents will be separating even if people who love my mother have to step in directly. Someone commented about boiling frog syndrome, and I think my mother is very much a little boiled frog, but I am very hopeful that we can extricate her from this situation to a more positive way of being. And ultimately I drafted a text message to Izzy, as I think I have her number stored on my phone. Thoughts on whether it would be wise to send would be appreciated. Hi Izzy, my name here. My dad's probably told you that the family are now all aware about your involvement with him. I just want to make clear that we bear no ill will towards you personally, and that we wish you a brighter tomorrow. My dad's selfishness should not dictate your destiny, and I hope you find your way to a future that does not include him. TLDR, we are reverse parent trapping our parents and getting our mother the heck out of this situation. I think how you all are handling it is fine. My only suggestion, in your message to Izzy, is to relay what, specifically, your dad was selfish about, and to explain that it was not okay with you. For example, his strong-arming your mother into accepting what he wanted. And that was not okay. Her age might make her more susceptible to this. And that's not even unpacking the age differences and when he started their relationship. Because, as time goes on, she may be strong-armed into something she's uncomfortable with if she sticks with your father, and may not have the maturity to understand she, one, doesn't have to put up with it, and two, that it's not healthy in a positive relationship. My heart goes out to all of you. One person's selfish behavior causing a lot of anguish, and the dismantling of a family is never an easy thing to go through. It sounds like all of you will be going through a lot of changes, so it might be beneficial to see if you can seek counseling together with your mom, or suggest counseling for her. 2. I went back and read your original post, and all I can say is wow. I mean, I understand that relationships change over time, especially when dealing with children, whether they be healthy or sick, but it seems like your mom had no choice but to go along with your dad's lifestyle change. I'm 52, and even to this day the thought of sleeping with one of my friend's dads grosses me out. I know the MILF-DILF thing is a thing, but a 16-year-old? No. Just no. I hope that your mom will make the decision to put herself first and get out of that one-sided relationship. I wish your mom and you and your siblings all the best. Please keep us updated. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.